Just a bit overwhelmed with assignment lately.
I see. University life can be challenging, especially with so many learning activities. Speaking of which, what kind of learning activities do you find most effective here at UNPAM?
Honestly, sir, I think group discussion are the most helpful. It's easier to understand the material when we exchange idea with friends.
That's a great point. Group discussion are indeed an excellent way to learn collaboratively. What about lectures or presentations? Do you find them useful?
Yes, sir. But sometimes lecture can feel monotone. If there's no interaction, I prefer it when lecture engage us with question or real life example.
I completely understand. Active participation makes learning more dynamic. That's why I try to include case studies or problem solving sessions in my classes. Have you noticed any other learning methods we use at UNPAM?
I think practical projects are very effective. For example, in my business class, we had to create a mock business proposal. It was challenging, but taught us a lot.
Exactly. Practical tasks are designed to bridge theory and real world applications. What about e learning? How do you feel about online activities? Are you using the learning management system?
It's convenient, sir, especially for accessing material and submitting assignment. But sometimes internet issue can be frustrating during live online class.
That's a common challenge. We're trying to improve the infrastructure to make it smoother. Do you think self study plays a big role in your learning here?
Definitely, sir. Especially when we have reading assignment or need to prepare for quiz, but sometimes it's hard to stay motivated without a clear deadline.
That's where time management becomes crucial. Setting personal goals for your study session can help. Do you have any suggestion for improving learning activities at UNPAM?
Maybe more interactive workshop or guest lecture from professional in the industry that would give you more practical insight.
That's an excellent suggestion. Aditya, I'll bring it up during the faculty meeting. Thank you for your input.
Yes, I like to discuss the quality of education and universities Pamulang.
That's a very relevant topic. What's your opinion about it?
I think UNPAM provide affordable education, which is great. But sometimes I feel the quality could be enhanced in certain area.
That's an interesting observation. Can you elaborate on which areas you're referring to?
For example, will the lecture are knowledgeable? Some class feel too large for effective interaction.
Oh, I understand. Managing large classes is indeed challenging. Do you think smaller class sizes would help?
Absolutely. It will allow for more personalization, attention, and better discussion.
That's true. However, considering UNPAM's large student body, implementing that might take time.
I see your point, sir. Maybe technology could help, like more online class or hybrid model.
That's an excellent suggestion. Digital tools can definitely enhance accessibility and interaction.
I also think more practical activity like workshop or internship would benefit students.
That's a valid point. Hands on experience is crucial for preparing students for the real world.
Exactly, sir. Some program already include internship, but they could be expanded to more departments.
I agree. Have you spoken to the student council about this idea?
Not yet, but I am considering it.
Well, you should. Proposals from students often carry weight because they reflect real experiences.
I will do that. Another aspect in infrastructure, some facility like classroom and lab could use upgrade.
Yes, I've heard similar feedback. Infrastructure development can take a lot of time, but it's definitely a priority.
Do you think the university is taking steps to address this issue?
From what I know, yes, UNPAM is continuously working to improve, but progress is such area is gradual.
That reassuring to her. I just hope student voice are being heard in this process.
They are. Universities rely on student feedback to identify areas of improvement.
That's good to know. I always think increased extracurricular opportunity could help student grow.
Absolutely, extracurricular activities play a big role in developing soft skills and networking.
I've joined a few clubs, but I feel there could be more diversity in the type of activity offered.
That's a fair point. Are there specific activities or programs you'd like to see?
Maybe more cultural exchange program or leadership training workshop.
Those are fantastic ideas. Have you thought about proposing them formally?
Not yet, but I will. Do you think we will receive?
Well, if presented properly, definitely. The university is usually open to initiatives from the students that benefit students.
Oh, that motivating to her, sir. One last thing, what do you personally think about UNPAM education system?
I believe UNPAM has a solid foundation, especially in making education accessible. However, there is always room for improvement, particularly in innovation and research.
That's true. Research opportunities seem limited.
Yes, and that's an area the university is starting to focus more on. Encouraging students to engage in research is crucial.
I'd love to be part of that. Are there any ongoing program I could join?
There are some research groups and collaborations. I can connect you with the right people if you're interested.
Oh, that will be amazing, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's a great to see students like you taking an active interest in improving the university.
I just want to make the most of my time here and contribute where I can.
That's the right attitude. Remember, change starts with small steps.
I will keep that in mind, sir. Thank you for your guidance.
Anytime, let me know if you need help with anything else.
I will, sir. Thank you again.
Take care and good luck with your ideas.
Thank you, sir, for listening. It's good to know that your feedback matter.
Always, Aditya, your learning experience is our priority. Let's continue working together to make it even better.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
You too, keep up the good work.
Terima kasih, Pak.
Ya, istirahat dulu ya, di pause.
Iya, Pak.
Oke, terus aduh, istirahat dulu.
Afternoon, Mr. Arif. Do you have a moment to discuss something?
Good afternoon, Zaini. Sure, please come in. What's on your mind?
That's you, sure. I would like to ask about the project we are working on for your class. I'm feeling a bit unsure about the direction I'm taking.
Oh, I see. Which part of the project are you struggling with? Is it the topic, the structure, or the content?
It's mainly about the topic. I chose the impact of technology of education, but I am not sure if it's specific enough of or if I am addressing it correctly.
That's a broad topic, but it's a good start. Have you narrowed it down to a particular aspect? For example, are you focusing on online learning, digital tools in classroom, or something else?
I was thinking about online learning, especially how it affects students' motivation and engagement. Do you think that's a good focus?
Yes, that's an excellent angle. It's both relevant and timely. However, you'll need to clearly define your scope. Are you focusing on primary schools, universities, or both?
I think I will focus on university students as it's something I can relate to and possibly gather data for.
That's a wise choice. Have you started gathering information or conducting research yet?
I have found a few journal article and some online survey, but I am not sure if I am analyzing them correctly.
It's good that you have started. When analyzing, make sure to look at the methodology of the studies you're referencing. Are the findings applicable to your focus on university students?
That's a great point. I will review the article again with that in mind. Also, do you think I should include my own survey or interview?
Well, if you have the time and resources, conducting your own survey or interviews would add a lot of value to your project. It will also demonstrate your initiative and critical thinking.
All right, I will try to design a short survey. Do you have any advice on how to create effective question?
Well, keep your questions clear and conscious. Use a mix of multiple choices and open-ended questions to gather both quantitative and qualitative data. And remember to avoid leading questions.
Understood. I will draft the question and share them with you feedback if that's okay.
Of course, I'd be happy to review them. Anything else you'd like me to discuss?
Yes, one more thing. How should I structure my final report?
Start with an introduction that outlines your topic, objectives, and scope, and then move on to literature review, your methodology, findings, discussion, and conclusions. Don't forget to include references.
That sound clear. Thank you so much for your guidance, sir.
You're welcome, Zaini. You're on the right track. Keep up the good work. Let me know if you need further help.
Sure, I just throw off another concern regarding the survey. How many respondents would be ideal for this kind of project?
Good question. For a class project, you don't need a very large sample. Around 20 or 30 respondents will be sufficient. As long as you ensure diversity in their background, you to get varied perspectives.
That makes sense. Should I focus more on students from our university, or is it better to include students from other universities as well?
Yeah, it's fine to focus on students from our university, especially if it's more practical for you. However, if you can include a few from other universities, it would enhance the generalizability of your findings.
I will try to reach out to some of my friends from other campus. Also about the analysis part. Should I rely more on statistic or is qualitative feedback equally important?
Um,
Both are.
Both are important. Use statistics to identify trends or patterns in your data, and qualitative feedback to provide depth and context to those trends. For example, if many students say they feel less motivated during online learning, a quote from one of the respondents could illustrate the issue more vividly.
I see, that's really helpful. I was also wondering how detailed does the discussion section need to be?
The discussion section should not only summarize your findings but also relate them to the existing literature. Compare your results with those from previous studies and explain any similarities or difference. It's also a good place to mention limitations and suggest further research directions.
Oh, I hadn't thought about including limitation. Could you give an example of a limitation for my project?
Sure. For instance, if most of your respondents are from the same university, that could limit the generalizability of your results. Or if your survey is conducted online, it might not capture the perspectives of students who are less engaged with digital tools.
But that's something I will keep in mind. By the way, sure, I have been considering added some visual element like graphs or cards. Would that be improved?
Absolutely. Visuals like graphs, tables, and charts can make your report more engaging and easier to understand. Just ensure they are clear, labeled properly, and directly relevant to your discussion.
Understood. I will make sure to include the where needed. Lastly, I want to ask, do you have any tips on how to improve my presentation skills for when I defend this project?
Certainly, practice is key. Rehearse your presentation multiple times to get comfortable with the flow. Focus on speaking clearly and confidently, and don't overload your slides with text. Use bulleted points and visuals to highlight your main points.
I will practice a lot, sir. Should I prepare for potential question during the defense?
Yes, that's a great idea. Think about possible questions your audience might ask and prepare your answers in advance. It will show that you have truly understood your topics.
Sure. One more things I'm curious about. That's the best way to handle conflicting data. For example, if my survey results don't align with that I find in the literature.
That's a great question, Zaini. If you encounter conflicting data, it's important to acknowledge it in your discussion. You can explain possible reasons for the differences, such as variations in sample groups, methodologies, or even cultural contexts.
So instead of avoiding.
Good morning, Mr. Arif. Do you have a moment?
Good morning, Dikatur. How can I help you?
I wanted to talk about the classroom environment at UNPAM and share some suggestions.
That's great. I'm always open to feedback. What's on your mind?
I feel that some students find the classes a bit monotonous. Maybe we could introduce activities to make learning more engaging.
I see. What kind of activities do you think would work well in our
Group discussion or case study analysis could be effective. They encourage collaboration and practical thinking.
Setia, Dika,
Ya,
lanjut. Group discussion or case studies.
group discussion or case study analysis could be effective. They encourage collaboration and practical thinking.
Good suggestions. Do you think students are comfortable with working in groups?
Some are, but others might need a little push. Maybe assigning roles within group could ensure everyone participates.
That's a great idea. I'll incorporate that into future sessions. How do you feel about physical classroom setup?
It's functional, but the arrangement could be more interactive. Rows are fine for lecture, but cluster or circle might make work better for discussion.
You're right. A flexible arrangement could encourage more communication. I'll see if we can try it in upcoming classes.
That would be great. Also, the use of multimedia in class could be expanded.
Interesting. We use PowerPoint and videos occasionally, but what else do you suggest?
Interactive tools like Kahoot for quizzes or Mentimeter for polls might make session more engaging.
Those are excellent ideas. I'll explore these tools and them in class. Do you think students will respond well to them?
Yes, I believe so. Most of us are familiar with this platform. They are also fun and encourage participation.
Perfect. I'll give them a try. How about the balance between theory and practice in our courses?
It's balanced, but adding more real world example, especially related to local industries, could make the content more relatable.
That's a good point. Case studies about local businesses or industries in Tangerang and South Tangerang might be relevant.
Exactly. Many of us aspire to work in those industries, so it would be highly beneficial.
I look into preparing material on that. Anything else you'd like to discuss?
Yes, some students feel hesitant to ask questions during lectures.
That's a common issue. Do you have suggestions to make them more comfortable?
Perhaps a Q&A session at the end of each lecture or an anonymous question box could help.
Great suggestion. I'll introduce a short Q&A segment at the end of each session and consider the question box idea.
That would be very helpful. Thank you, sir.
It's fine for most students, but evening classes can be, well, my pleasure. How do you feel about the timing of our classes?
That would It's fine for most students, but evening classes can be exhausting. Short break could help us recharge.
That's a valid concern. I'll include short breaks to make the session more manageable.
Thank you, sir. One more thing could be have occasional guest lecture from industry professionals.
That's an excellent idea. I'll reach out to some industry contacts to arrange guest lectures.
That would be amazing. It would give us insight to the practical side of our studies.
Absolutely. It's important to connect theory with practice. How do you feel about the overall class participation?
It's good, but some students are shy. Icebreaker activities could help create a more relaxed atmosphere.
Icebreakers are a great idea. I'll think of some simple activities to start our classes with.
That's wonderful. It makes the session more lively.
Agreed. Thank you for all these thoughtful suggestions, Dika. They're very helpful.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you for being so open to our ideas.
It's important to listen to students. A good classroom environment benefits everyone.
True, sir. If there anything I can do to support this change, let me know.
Thank you, Dika. Your enthusiasm is appreciated. Maybe you can help encourage your classmates to participate more actively.
Of course, sir. I'd be happy to help.
Let's work together to make our classes at UNPAM the best they can be.
Definitely, sir. Thank you again for your time.
My pleasure. Have a great day.
You too, sir. Thank you.
Oke,
Makasih, Pak.
next kebut aja dengan Seiman. Hi, Seiman. What are you doing here so early? Taking a break?
Yeah, just enjoying the campus atmosphere. It's always so lively here, even though there are so many assignments and exam coming up.
Haha, I know the feeling. The campus does have its own energy. I spend a lot of time here as well. Although most students don't realize that a lecturer's life on campus has its own story too.
Really, we mostly say the side of lecture test, teach class, give exam and grade papers. But I am course what I'll say goes on behind the second in lecture life.
Well, there's a lot more than just teaching. For instance, I spend quite a bit of time on research, reading journals, and preparing lectures to ensure students can understand the material well.
So lectures are both with more than just teaching here.
Exactly. Teaching is just a small part of it. A lot of my time goes into planning lectures, conducting research, meeting with colleagues, and sometimes attending faculty meetings.
I never
I never,
realized how much. Sorry,
yeah, continue.
I never realized how much work goes into being a lecturer. Share. I always thought once you finish your lecture, you had plenty of free time.
Aha, that's the common assumption. But in reality, we also have a lot to do. Apart from teaching, I also have to grade assignments, stay updated on academic developments, and sometimes mentor students who are struggling.
So it's not as easy as it seems. I get it now. I sometimes feel overwhelmed with all the excitement and exam coming my way.
I understand, Sain. I remember what it was like to be a student too. The pressure of assignments and exams. But trust me, those challenges help you grow and learn new skills for the future.
That's true, sir. But is the and time when you can quality relax on campus and just enjoy yourself. I said for work.
Good question. After my lectures, I usually find time for diets, read books, or chat with colleagues. I also like spending some quiet moments in campus, especially when things slow down after class hours. The campus has some nice spots that help clear my mind.
Really, that is turning. Sure. I always assumed lecture are to bus to have time to relax.
Well, we do need time to recharge. As lectures, we also have personal lives and hobbies. Balancing work and personal time is crucial for staying productive and mentally healthy. Otherwise, we can burn out.
That makes sense. What place on campus do you actually go to when some pitch?
I like the garden behind the faculty building. It's quiet, with lots of trees, and there are students studying or just chatting there. I also enjoy the library, even though it's often busy. I find it a good place to focus.
So you do find sorry. So you do find some time for yourself between all the responsibilities. I never talk about it the way.
Exactly. It's all about balance. Whether you're a student or a lecturer, you need that time to yourself to stay grounded and not get overwhelmed.
I never realized how much of things you have to maintain. I always to go it was just about literature and reading.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. As a lecturer, it's important to keep up with new developments in your field, contribute to research, and support your students. But you also need to remember to take care of yourself.
I say no. Sure, it's not just about teaching. It's about levelessly managing, managing, managing time and finding a balance. I guess I can apply that mindset to my studies as well.
Exactly. Managing time, staying organized, and knowing when to take breaks are key skills, not just for your studies, but for life in general.
Thanks for the insight, uh, Pak Arif. I'll definitely try find a better balance in my life now.
You're welcome, Seiman. Remember, university is not just about academic growth, but a personal development as well. Take it one step at a time and don't forget to enjoy the journey.
I'll get the and meet share. Thanks again for the chat.
Anytime, Seiman. Have a great day.
You too share.
Okay, next go with Alif.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Alif. Let's start with our discussion on learning and teaching methods. To begin with, how do you prefer to learn?
Yes, sir. I prefer interactive methods like group discussion and hands-on activities. I find it easier to retain information when I'm actively engaged.
That's interesting. Many students find active learning methods more effective. However, some still prefer traditional lectures or reading materials. Why do you think interactivity helps you better?
I think it's because I can ask questions directly, get instant feedback, and clarify my doubts. It also feels more collaborative, which keeps me motivated.
Have you noticed any challenges with traditional lectures?
Yes, sometimes it's hard to stay focused, especially during long lectures. It feels passive, and I tend to zone out if the topic does immediately grab my interest.
Well, that's a common observation. On the other hand, Lectures are great for delivering structured information. What about flipped classrooms, where students learn the material before and use class time for discussion? What do you think about it?
I think that's a great approach. It allows students to learn at their own pace and come prepared. But it requires discipline, which some students may struggle with.
Let's talk about technology. Do you think tools like e-learning platforms and educational apps improve learning?
Mm, absolutely. They provide flexibility and resource we won't have access to other ways. For example, I use apps for language learning and video tutorials for top concepts.
Wow, that's great. But do you think there's a risk of over-relying on technology?
Definitely, sometimes too many online resources can be overwhelming and it's easy to get distracted. There's also lack of personal interaction, which I think is still important.
Well, from a teacher's perspective, one of the biggest challenges is catering to diverse learning styles. What do you think we can do to address this?
Maybe a mix of teaching methods would help, combining lectures, group work, and interactive session. Also, giving students the flexibility to choose their preferred learning style make a difference.
That's a good suggestion. We often underestimate the importance of feedback. Do you think regular feedback helps students?
Absolutely. Feedback has used infinity areas of improvement and track our progress. Without it, we're kind of light in the dark.
Let's touch on assessment. Do you prefer traditional exams or alternative assessments like projects and presentations?
I prefer a combination. Exams test theoretical knowledge, while project and presentation access practical understanding. Both are important.
I agree. Alternative assessments also encourage creativity and critical thinking, which are crucial skills in today's world. To wrap up, what changes would you suggest to improve teaching methods?
I'd suggest incorporating more interactive elements, using technology wisely, and offering diverse assessment methods, flexibility, and open communication between teachers and students are also key.
Excellent suggestion, Alif. It's always insightful to hear students' perspective. I'll keep this in mind and I'll refine my teaching approach. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Shir. This discussion has been really helpful for me too.
Before we conclude, let's explore how cultural and social contexts influence learning. Do you think cultural background plays a role in how students prefer to learn?
Absolutely. In some cultures, students are encouraged to speak up and actively participate, while in others, they're more accustomed to listening and following instruction. Understanding this difference is crucial for everything teaching.
That's a great point. How do you think teachers can address these cultural differences in a diverse classroom?
I think teachers can create an inclusive environment by being aware of this difference and encouraging participation in ways that feel comfortable for everyone. For example, providing multiple options for expressing ideas, like group discussion or written reflection, can help.
Very thoughtful. Speaking of inclusion, How do you feel about peer-to-peer learning?
I think it's a fantastic method. Learning from peers can sometimes feel less intimidating and we can relate better to their perspective. Plus, teaching others refers our own understanding.
True, it fosters collaboration and helps build communication skills too. Finally, if you could design your ideal classroom environment, what would it be like?
My ideal classroom would mix our traditional and modern approaches. It would have flexible seating for group activities, access to technology like smart tablets or tablets, and space for quick individual work. The atmosphere would be open and supportive, encouraging both creativity and critical thinking.
That sounds like an inspiring vision. Thank you again for your sharing, Alif. These insights will definitely contribute to improving learning experiences for all students.
Thank you, Mr. Arif. I'm glad I could share my perspective. This conversation has made me think deeply about my own learning journey.
Before we end, let's touch on the role of emotions in learning. How do you think emotions, like motivation or anxiety, impact the learning process?
I think emotions play a hard role. When I'm motivated or excited about a topic, I'm more likely to dig deeper and engage. On the other hand, anxiety or fear of failure can make it hard to focus or even start learning.
That's very true. How do you think teachers can create a positive emotional environment in the classroom?
By being a proper, showing empathy and encouraging a growth mindset. When teacher emphasizes progress over perfection, it helps reduce anxiety. Celebrating small achievements can also boost confidence.
Excellent points. What about collaboration? How important is a sense of community in the classroom for effective learning?
It's very important when students feel connected and supported by their peers. They're more likely to participate and share ideas. It also makes the classroom feel like a safe space for growth.
That's very insightful. Do you think rewards and incentives are effective for motivating students?
To some extent, yes, rewards can motivate short-term behavior, but I think intrinsic motivation, like finding personal meaning in what we learn, is more sustainable. Teachers can help by showing so the material connects to real life application.
I completely agree. Leslie, what do you think about self-directed learning? Should students take more responsibility for their education?
I think it's essential. Self-directed learning helps you develop independent and problem-solving skills. The teachers still play a crucial role in building and supporting youth, especially when visual stuck or overwhelmed.
A balanced perspective, as always. Thank you again for your thoughtful insights. I've learned a lot from our conversation.
Thank you, Mr. Arif. It's been a great learning experience for me too. I appreciate the opportunity to share my thoughts.
The pleasure is mine. Keep up the good work and never stop exploring new ways to learn and grow. Have a